Hi everyone, welcome to Tarot Talks, episode 2. Today it's going to be Beetlejuice. I have used this deck once before. I did a short and I asked you guys to choose between Nightmare Before Christmas and Beetlejuice won. So I've done this deck before, but she's a very complicated deck to kind of read because her illustrations, there we go, are just so different than what I'm used to. So it takes a little bit to get familiar with it, but I thought we would interview the deck, ask a few questions, and see what she has to say. So again, this is the Beetlejuice deck, and we're going to start with, all right, Beetlejuice deck, what is your personality? What is your personality? I'm a huge fan of the Beetlejuice movie. So we have the I'm terrible at Roman numerals, so it is IV. So what does that got to be? 4. So it is the 4 of Wands. Ah, the 4 of Wands is really a card of celebration, joy, in my opinion, triumph. It's referred to as a card of like unions and weddings and just bliss. So if we've asked the deck, what's your personality? This is her personality. And next, Beetlejuice deck, what type of readings do you enjoy the most? So if you haven't seen the reading that I did or the video that I did with the Beetlejuice deck, find it. Maybe I can attach it to this one. I don't know. But if I can, I will, because it was just so much fun. So what type of readings do you enjoy the most? This one? Okay. So it is 5 of Pentacles. Interesting. 5 of Pentacles. So 5 of Pentacles, it is typically, okay, 5 of Pentacles is a card where when it comes up, you're either possibly talking not so great about yourself or you're pointing out your faults and things like that. So maybe this is a deck that will kind of help push you in the right direction. It's not going to be afraid to tell you what it thinks, and all in the purpose of helping you to be able to move forward, helping you to kind of discern what's going on up here, because sometimes we need a little clarification and a little help. So I think that's pretty cool. So thank you for that. All right, Beetlejuice deck, what lessons do you want to share with us? What lessons do you want to share with us? Woo. All right. It is the 8 of Pentacles. Ah, okay. So the lessons that Beetlejuice deck is saying that they want to share with us is hard work. So when you put in the hard work, everything kind of just comes together, right? When you're diligent about your work, when you're diligent about taking care of yourself, I'm just hearing self-care. When you're diligent about your self-care, that's when we just start to feel better. Our health gets better, our heart gets better, our mind gets better. And I think if it is number 3, what lessons do you want to share? It wants to share ways that you can be better. Because we are all looking for ways to be better. All right, Beetlejuice deck, how will you help my viewers? How will you help my viewers? I feel like that's kind of like what lessons do you want to share? But I like that. I like that for the 8 of Pentacles. And I love it. It's Juno, the caseworker, and the Maitlands. Oh, that's so great. And even the 5 of Pentacles, it's so neat. If you guys are fans of the Beetlejuice movie, then you can kind of relate to how cool these cards are. So 4, Beetlejuice deck, how will you help my viewers? Sorry, I got distracted. So I looked up the supporting cast members' names and the main characters and all that. And it's funny that it's the Page of Cups, because this said the football team was like the lost souls, and they kind of are. And so Page of Cups is like a curious mind. So how will you help my viewers? Okay, so like if you have a curious mind and you're wanting a little direction and a little help from your guides and my guides, this would be a card that you may be able to use to kind of get that direction for those curious minds out there. I love that. That's really neat. Okay. All right, Beetlejuice deck, what would you say your unique energy is? What would you say your unique energy is? You? The moon. That's kind of neat. So the moon is, it's like, it depends on the surrounding cards, right? But I feel like the energy from this moon's is, you know, like when you're in like those illusions, or you're maybe getting those nods of your like intuition and you just kind of want some direction. I feel like this would be a good deck to kind of like look at illusions or situations, or what intuitive thoughts that you're having, kind of like put them in a different scenario than, you know, your typical love cards or your typical, you know, just pentacle cards, where they have kind of specific meanings. I mean, it's a picture of the Maitlands, and they're trying to get the Dietzes out of the house, right? So I feel like with these cards, they're trying to kind of send another message through. And so if it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what is your unique energy? That's pretty cool if it has the unique energy of the moon card, you know? The unique energy of asking us to kind of look at situations in a different way. And these cards are definitely looking at situations in a different way, especially like I said with the Page of Cups, and knowing that when I was doing a little bit of research on the cast, it literally had said lost souls. So I kind of like that. 6, Beetlejuice deck. What strength do you bring to a reading? What's a strength that you bring to the reading? What is a strength that you bring to a reading? What are you? These are thick cards and I haven't used them much, so they don't move much. Ah, the Hanged Man. Oh, I just think it's so great. The Hanged Man. So the strength that I feel like the deck is trying to talk to us and tell us that it brings is the strength of knowing when you have. So the Hanged Man, he's hanging there until he figures it out. So I think the strength of the cards is they will help you figure out situations. Between our guides, the deck wants to help you figure out situations. So that's pretty neat. I love this interview, the deck thing. I'm going to do it with all my cards. Number 7, what message do you have for those watching? Before we started, I saw, because I had to write down, you know, you write down your interview questions. And so when I wrote that, I was very curious to see what the card is that the Beetlejuice deck wants to share with us for their unique message. Page of Pentacles. So I feel like with the Page of Pentacles, there's a potential for like a lesson to learn. That's it. Like I feel it right here. That's it. The Beetlejuice deck, the message that they have is there's so many lessons that we can learn on how to be better to ourselves, and how we can use the tools that we have here, like our tarot, you know, our pendulums, our divination tools. You know, we have these tools for a reason. They want to communicate with us because they're trying to guide us through this journey while we're here. So I love that. So we are going to end on the Page of Pentacles. That's so awesome. All right. So I hope you've enjoyed this. As always, subscribe, like, share, all that fun stuff. And I will see you on the next video.